Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Next Step Espresso, your daily shot of fitness. I am your host, as always, Johnny Landals from Next Step Nutrition, bringing you the podcast that helps you overcome the industry confusion and get results for good. Today, we're on episode 408. This comes from a question I had recently in the Instagram DMs. Remember, you can always ask me a question on Instagram, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. This particular fellow asked me about having a break from fat loss without wrecking his progress, without letting himself down. He'd been making some great progress, but he wanted to take a break around the Christmas period in order to enjoy it to its fullest, but he didn't want to return to his former self. He didn't want to lose all his progress. Now, this is obviously completely adequate reason, and a big fear of many to put the weight back on because you've tried so hard to get it off, right? So it'd feel like going backwards. Now, the first thing to remember is that the scale weight isn't the best thing to go off, because as soon as you start eating a little bit more food, you will put on a little bit of weight from water weight, from food weight, and from storing extra carbohydrates. So let's say that you were dieting and you decided to add a few hundred calories on top from carbohydrates. If you were to store, let's just use the example of 100 grams of carbohydrates, because that would be 400 calories. If you were to store all of those, you would put on the 100 grams of carbohydrate, you'd store that. And you would also then store 300 to 400 grams of water weight, right? So you've got nearly half a kilo there, none of which would be fat, and a pound if that's the measurement you use. So around a pound of body weight. If you saw this on the scale the day after, eating a bit more food, you'd think, oh crap, I'm starting to go backwards here. I need to go back into my deficit. I can't do a break right now because I, clearly just put the fat back on. And that is not the case, right? Diet breaks are an important part of a journey. There's no set amount of time really that we should have them, but there are arguments that every sort of 8 to 12 to 16 weeks is a good time frame based on the amount of body fat you have to lose. So the leaner you are, diet break every 8 weeks, and if you've got a little bit more body fat, then every 12 to 16 weeks is a good amount of time. And again, in terms of the length of a break, there are some disagreements on this. Some people say a week or two would be fine. There are other people that say at least 2/3 of the diet. So let's say that you've been dieting for 12 weeks. This team of people would say 8 weeks minimum. You've got to kind of decide when you feel like you're ready to return to the diet. But the reason why they're important is because the further that we diet, the more certain adaptations set in. So starvation mode itself is not a real thing. If you continue to starve yourself, you would continue to lose weight, which is why people drop calories. But the further you diet, the more hunger you'll start to get because your body will want to regain that lost fat. You will get lower levels of non-exercise activity, so not just your step count, but in terms of the amount you fidget, the amount you get up and down, the amount you move in general. You'll have a lower satisfaction with meals because, again, your hunger will be higher, so your satisfaction will be lower. And you'll also burn fewer calories through exercise because your body will start to get very efficient at saving energy. So you return to maintenance calories to have your break. You're not going to be shooting over. Now, if you have lost a bit of body fat, then it's worthwhile using a calorie calculator of some kind. I recommend the Kevin Hall body weight planner to return to maintenance, right? And then you think, okay, well, my new maintenance is this. You can either then track your calories to get you in that place, or you can do it in a non-tracking manner. Now, if you're not tracking, the best bet would be to eat to a satisfaction. So, a 7 or 8 on the hunger scale, maybe a 9 out of 10 fullness. So you're being satisfied but not over full. And to potentially follow portion guide examples, right? Okay, how much of this food should I be eating? Ideally, if you've been dieting for a fair bit of time, you're used to certain portion sizes with your dieting amount, and therefore you can add a small amount of food back in. Maybe you're just adding an extra snack in a day. Maybe you're adding in a bit extra for a certain meal. Don't overcomplicate it, and don't make it too dissimilar to your dieting food, right? Your dieting food should be your normal diet, but just a little bit lower quantity. It shouldn't be a completely different set of food. So enjoy it, right? When you go through a diet break, return to maintenance, enjoy the better sleep, enjoy the better training, enjoy the better energy you have, the more NEAT you have. And then in terms of length of time, when you feel like you're not fixated about food anymore and you feel recovered, you're sleeping better, you're not as stressed anymore, then that's a time when you feel like you can return to fat loss. But having a break over Christmas, perfectly good time to have a diet break. Also, whenever you go through particularly stressful periods, it'd be better to go through a diet break then. You shouldn't always be trying to lose body fat. That's definitely for sure. So I hope that helps. Remember, guys, if you have a question, you can ask me over Instagram. I'll reply to you on Instagram as well, but I'll probably then turn it into a podcast episode too, because it will no doubt help more people than just yourself. So you can reach me at Johnny Landals or at Next Step Nutrition Limited. If you're not following those accounts already, then please do so. And if you enjoyed this podcast, then please do share it with someone who will also find it useful. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another Daily Shot of Fitness.